Commander Tay stood at the viewing window of Sol Station, watching the alien ship approach. The ship was huge, at least 3 times bigger than Earth's largest vessel. Its surface shone like metal, but moved like water, rippling with colors that Tay had never seen before. "They're almost here, sir," said Jin, Tay's young assistant. Jin held a tablet that showed the ship's path. His hands shook slightly. "Are you nervous?" Tay asked. "Yes, sir. These are the first aliens to visit our solar system. The whole future of Earth might depend on this meeting." Tay nodded. He felt the same way, but as commander of Earth's greeting team, he couldn't show fear. "We've trained for this. We'll be fine." The aliens had sent messages for the past 6 months. They called themselves the Vextal. They said they were peaceful and wanted to trade with humans. They promised to share amazing technology if Earth would be their friend. But Tay didn't fully trust them. Something about their messages seemed too good to be true. "Sir, the Vextal ship has docked," said a voice over the station's speakers. "Their leaders will enter through Gate 7 in 5 minutes. Tay straightened his blue uniform and checked his appearance one last time. 6 other humans stood with him in the meeting room. They were scientists, language experts, and soldiers. Earth's first contact team. "Remember," Tay told them, "be polite but careful. Watch what you say. We know very little about them." The door at the far end of the room slid open. 2 station guards stepped in first, then moved to the sides. Then the aliens entered. Tay's first thought was that they were beautiful. The Vextal were tall and thin, about 7 feet high. Their bodies were covered in what looked like thousands of tiny scales that changed color as they moved. Their heads were long with 4 eyes, 2 large ones in front and 2 smaller ones on the sides. They had no nose, just a small mouth and 2 slits where ears would be on a human. Vextal walked into the room, but something else came with them, something that made Tay's skin feel cold. Behind each alien was a dark shape, not solid, but like a hole in the air. The shapes moved when the aliens moved. They seemed to bend the light around them, making it hard for Tay to look directly at them. No one else on the human team seemed to notice these strange shadows. The lead Vextal stepped forward. Its scales turned a deep blue color. "I am High Speaker Vel," it said in perfect English. Its voice was musical, like several people singing at once. "We bring greetings from the Vextal Alliance of Worlds." Tay bowed slightly. "Welcome to Solo Station. I am Commander Tay of the Earth Coalition. We are honored by your visit. As Tay spoke, he couldn't help glancing at the dark shape floating behind Vel. It seemed to shift and grow larger when he looked at it. The meeting went well at first. The Vextal were polite and seemed interested in humans. They asked about Earth's history, governments, and technology. They offered to share medical knowledge that could cure many human diseases. But Tay noticed something strange. Every few minutes, Vel would pause and turn its head slightly, as if listening to someone behind it, where the dark shape floated. The other Vextal did the same thing with their shadow companions. During a break, Tay pulled Jin aside. "Do you see anything unusual about our visitors?" he asked quietly. Jin looked confused. "They're aliens, sir. Everything about them is unusual." "I mean specifically behind them. Do you see anything following them?" Jin looked again at the Vextal, who were examining a 3D map of the solar system. "No, sir. Just the aliens." Tay frowned. "I see something like a shadow or a hole in space behind each of them. It moves when they move." Jin's eyes widened. "Sir, are you feeling well? Should I call the doctor?" "No, I'm fine," Tay said quickly. "Forget I mentioned it." The meeting continued for 3 more hours. The Vextol proposed a trading agreement. They would give humans advanced technology in exchange for certain Earth metals and permission to build bases on Mars and Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. "We need time to consider your offer," Tay said. "Our leaders will want to review all details." Vel nodded. "Of course, we will remain in orbit for 7 of your days. That should give you enough time." As the aliens prepared to leave, Tay noticed that the shadow behind Vel seemed to reach forward and touch the back of the alien's head. Vel's scales flashed red for a second, and then it turned to Tay. "One small addition," Vel said. "We would like to scan your planet's core, for scientific purposes only." Something about the way Vel said this made Tay uneasy. "I'll add that, too. The requests our leaders will consider," he said carefully. The Vexitol left the station and returned to their ship. As soon as they were gone, Tay went to the medical bay. "I need a full brain scan," he told Dr. Sung, the station's chief medical officer. "And I don't want it in my official record." Dr. Sung was an older woman with short gray hair. She raised her eyebrows but asked no questions as she prepared the scanner. "What are we looking for?" she asked, as Tay lay down on the examination table. "I'm seeing things that others don't see," Tay said. "I need to know if something's wrong with me." The scan took 30 minutes. When it was done, Dr. Sung studied the results with a puzzled expression. "Your brain is perfectly normal," she said, "except for unusual activity in this area." She pointed to a section of the scan that showed bright colors. "This part of the brain isn't active in most people." "What does that area do?" Tay asked. "We're not entirely sure. Some scientists think it might process visual information that most humans can't perceive, like certain wavelengths of light." That night, Tay couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the shadows behind the Vextal. If they were real, what were they? And why could only he see them? He got up and went to his computer. He searched the station's database for any information about the Vextal. There wasn't much, just the messages they had sent and some scientific analysis of their language. Then Tay tried a different search. He looked for humans who claimed to see strange things, shadows, figures, or entities that others couldn't see. There were thousands of reports throughout history. Most were dismissed as imagination or mental illness, but some reports described exactly what Tay had seen. Dark shapes that bent light around them, following people like shadows. In ancient texts, these shapes had a name: Watchers, beings from beyond the physical world who observed and sometimes controlled humans, or gods, Tay suddenly understood. The shadows weren't following the Vextal, they were controlling them, and somehow, for some reason, Tay could see them when no one else could. He needed to tell someone, but who would believe him? He needed proof first. Tay decided to start with Dr. Sung. If something in his brain let him see these beings, maybe others had the same ability. Maybe they could help him understand what the Vextal and their shadow masters really wanted from Earth. Tomorrow, he would begin his search for answers. Tonight, he tried not to think about the dark shape he had glimpsed outside his window, watching him from the blackness of space. Dr. Sung stared at the brain scans spread across her desk. She had been working all night, comparing Commander Tay's brain to those in the medical database. "You're sure about what you saw?" she asked Tay, who stood beside her looking tired. He hadn't slept well. "Yes," he said. "Dark shapes behind each Vextal, like holes in space. No one else saw them." Dr. Sung pointed to a bright spot on one of the scans. This area of your brain shows unusual activity. It's a part most humans don't use much. She pulled up another scan. This is a normal human brain. The same area was dark. What does it mean? Tay asked. I don't know yet, she said. But you're not the only one. She showed him 5 more brain scans. All had the same bright spot as Tay's. These are from other people on the station. Tay leaned closer. Who are they? 2 security officers, 1 engineer, and 2 cleaning staff. All with the same brain pattern as you. I need to talk to them, Tay said. Right away. An hour later, Tay sat in a small meeting room with the 5 people Dr. Sung had found. They looked confused about why they were there. I'm Commander Tay, he began. Thank you for coming. I need to ask you something important. He paused. During the meeting with the Vextal yesterday, did any of you see anything unusual about the aliens? The 5 people looked at each other nervously. No one spoke. Please, Tay said. This is not a trick question. I need to know the truth. Finally, a young security officer named Han raised his hand. I saw something, sir, but when I told my team leader, he said I was imagining things. What did you see? Tay asked. Shadow things, Han said quietly, behind each alien, like dark holes floating in the air. The others in the room gasped. An older man who worked as an engineer spoke next. I saw them too. I thought I was going crazy. Soon all 5 were talking at once. They had all seen the same thing. Dark shapes that followed the Vextal. And no one else saw them? Tay asked. They all shook their heads. We need to find out what these things are, Tay said, and why only a few of us can see them. I might have an answer, said Dr. Sung, who had been listening from the side of the room. She stepped forward with her tablet. I ran tests on blood, samples from all of you. You share a rare genetic marker. About 8% of humans have it. What does this marker do? Asked a woman who worked on the cleaning staff. It's linked to the active brain area in your scans, Dr. Sung explained. Scientists used to think it did nothing. They called it junk DNA, but I think it allows you to see things in wavelengths or dimensions that most humans can't perceive. Tay thought about this. The Vextal can all see these shadow beings. They act like they're getting instructions from them. I noticed that, too, Han said. The aliens would stop talking sometimes, like they were listening to something. We need more information, Tay decided. The Vextal are coming back today to continue talks. Dr. Sung, I want you and these 5 to watch through the security cameras. Record everything the aliens do, especially when they seem to be listening to the shadows. What will you do? Dr. Sung asked. I'll lead the talks again, Tay said. But this time, I'll pay more attention to those shadows. When the Vextal returned, Tay was ready. He watched carefully as the 5 aliens entered the meeting room. The shadow beings came with them, floating just behind each Vextal. Welcome back, Tay said to High Speaker Vel. I hope you found your ship comfortable after our talks yesterday. Yes, very, Vel replied. Its scales shifted to a pleasant blue color. Have your leaders considered our offers? They are still discussing them, Tay said. But I have some questions. About your species, if you don't mind. Ask anything, Vel said. Do the Vextal have religious beliefs? Tay asked casually. The shadow behind Vel seemed to grow darker. Vel's scales flashed red briefly before returning to blue. We have evolved beyond the need for religious myths, Vel said, but Tay noticed its 4 eyes darting quickly to the shadow behind it. No gods at all, Tay pressed. None, Vel said firmly. We follow science and reason. Tay decided to take a risk. He looked directly at the shadow behind Vel and asked, "And what about beings from other dimensions? Do those exist in your science?" This time, all the Vextal's scales flashed red. The shadows behind them pulsed and grew larger. For a moment, Tay felt a cold pressure in his mind, like something trying to push its way in. Vel stood up suddenly. "We need a short break," it announced. "A private matter requires our attention." The Vextal left the room quickly. Through his earpiece, Tay heard Han's voice. "Sir, they're going to a corner of the hallway. They seem to be bowing to the shadows." "Record everything," Tay ordered, "and get that footage to Dr. Sung's lab immediately." When the Vextal returned, they acted as if nothing had happened. They continued discussing trade agreements, but now they added new requests: access to Earth's defense systems, detailed maps of human brain patterns, and permission to place scientific equipment near major cities. After the meeting, Tay met with his team and the others who could see the shadows. They showed the recording of the Vexitol in the hallway on a large screen. The aliens stood in a circle, heads bowed, while the camera saw nothing in front of them. But Tay and the others in the room could see the shadows on the screen. Now, larger and more solid-looking. "They're praying to them," said the female cleaner. "Or taking orders." "It gets worse," Dr. Sung said. She showed them data from sensors around the station. "When the shadows grew larger, we detected unusual energy, patterns. The same kind of energy was in the Vextal messages about scanning Earth's core." "What does it mean?" Han asked. "I think," Tay said slowly, "that these shadow beings are using the Vextal to get something from Earth. Something important enough that they're willing to give us advanced technology in exchange. Or they want us to think they're giving us technology," Dr. Sung added. "I analyzed the medical knowledge they offered. It looks impressive, but it contains hidden elements that would give them access to human genetic information. We need to tell Earth's leaders," Tay said, "but they won't believe us without proof." "I have an idea," Dr. Sung said. "The genetic marker you all share, it's a simple mutation. I might be able to create a temporary drug that gives others the same ability. Just for a short time." "How long would it take to make this drug?" Tay asked. "A day, maybe 2, Dr. Sung replied. "But I'll need help." "You'll get everything you need," Tay promised. "Because I think we only have a few days before the Vextal. Expect an answer. And if we say yes to their offers—" He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Everyone in the room was thinking the same thing. The shadow beings weren't just controlling the Vextal. They were planning to control humans, too, and only a small group of people could see the danger coming. Dr. Sung worked through the night in her lab. Test tubes and strange machines filled the tables around her. Commander Tay brought her coffee as the station's lights switched to morning mode. "Did you sleep at all?" Tay asked. Dr. Sung shook her head. "No time, but I think it's working." She held up a small vial of blue liquid. "The drug should activate the same brain area that lets you see the shadow beings." "How sure are you that it's safe?" Tay asked. "I tested it on cell samples," she said. "No bad reactions, but I can't be completely sure until someone tries it." "I'll do it," said a voice from the doorway. Admiral Kang, the highest-ranking officer on Seoul Station, stood there. His face looked serious. Tay was surprised. "Sir, you believe us?" "Admiral," Kang walked into the lab. "I watched your recordings. I can't see the shadows you described, but I can see how the Vextal behave. Something is wrong." He looked at the blue liquid. "If this will let me see what you see, I want to try it." Dr. Sung looked worried. "Sir, it might have side effects we don't know about yet." That's an order, Doctor, Admiral Kang said firmly. We have a meeting with the Vextal in 3 hours. I need to know what we're dealing with. Dr. Sung carefully filled a small injector with the blue liquid. It should work for about 6 hours, she told Admiral Kang as she pressed it against his arm. You might feel dizzy for a few minutes. The Admiral sat down as the drug entered his body. He closed his eyes and breathed deeply. I feel strange, he said after a minute, like I can see with my eyes closed. That's normal, Dr. Sung said, though she sounded unsure. Your brain is processing new information for the first time. When Admiral Kang opened his eyes, he gasped. There's something in the corner of the room. He pointed to an empty spot near the ceiling. Tay looked where the Admiral pointed but saw nothing. There's no shadow being there, sir. Dr. Sung checked her instruments. The energy readings are different from what we detected around the Vextal. This might be something else. Admiral Kang stared at the corner. It's smaller than what you described, more like a tiny tear in the air. It's watching us. Earth has its own dimensional visitors, Dr. Sung said quietly. The legends of ghosts, spirits. Maybe some people have always been able to see them. But they're not controlling us like the Vextal shadows, Tay said. That's the difference. Admiral? Kang stood up. His face was pale but determined. We need to know more about these beings and why they want access to Earth. Dr. Sung, make more of that drug. I want 4 of my most trusted officers to take it before the meeting. Yes, sir, Dr. Sung said. 2 hours later, Tay, Admiral Kang, and 4 senior officers waited in the main meeting room. All had taken Dr. Sung's drug and could now see the dimensional beings. Dr. Sung and Han watched everything from the security room. The Vexatal entered, and with them came their shadow masters, larger and darker than before. The officers tried not to react, but one young woman couldn't help staring. High Speaker Vel noticed. Its scales flashed in patterns of red and purple. You seem surprised by something, human, it said to her. Just admiring your unique appearance, she said quickly. The shadow behind Vel stretched forward. It seemed to inspect the humans more carefully than before. Have your leaders made a decision about our offers? Vel asked Admiral Kang. We have more questions first, the Admiral said. Your species has visited 3 other planets before Earth, correct? Yes, Vel said. All are now our allies. And how are those planets doing now? Admiral Kang asked. We'd like to contact them directly. All the shadows pulsed at once. The Vextal's scales turned deep red. That won't be possible, Vel said. They are unavailable for communication at this time. Tay touched a small device in his pocket. It was connected to Dr. Sung's lab. What information do we have about those other planets? He asked quietly. Dr. Sung's voice came through his earpiece. The last signals from all 3 planets showed massive energy surges. Then nothing. Complete silence for years. Tay looked at the shadow beings. They were getting larger, filling more of the room. A cold feeling touched his mind again, stronger this time. We need your answer tomorrow, Vel said. Its voice sounded different, harder, less musical. We have been patient. We offer gifts no other species would share. Why do you hesitate? The largest shadow moved closer to Admiral Kang. For a moment, its shape became clearer, like a giant dark hand reaching out. The Admiral stepped back. We will give our answer tomorrow, he said firmly. This meeting is over. The Vexatal left, but Tay noticed that one of the shadow beings stayed behind. It floated near the ceiling, almost invisible. Don't look up, Tay whispered to the others. One of them stayed behind. In the security room, Dr. Sung was checking her instruments. "I'm getting strange readings," she told them through their earpieces. "The shadow is doing something to the air." "Everyone out," Admiral Kang ordered. "Now." They left the meeting room and sealed the door. On the security screen, they could see the shadow spreading out like smoke, touching everything in the room. "It's scanning," Dr. Sung said. "Looking for information." "Or leaving something behind," Han suggested. "Like bugs to spy on us." Admiral Kang turned to Tay. "I've seen enough. These beings are a threat. We need to warn Earth and stop the Vextal from gaining access to our planet." "But how?" Tay asked. "Most people can't see the shadow beings. They won't believe us." "I have an idea," said Dr. Sung. "The shadows give off energy we can detect. If I adjust our station sensors, we might be able to make them visible to everyone." "Do it," Admiral Kang ordered, "and contact Earth's Defense Command. Tell them to prepare for a possible threat." As they walked back to the lab, Tay noticed more small tears in the air, like the one Admiral Kang had seen earlier. They were everywhere. On the station now, watching. "The shadow beings know we can see them," Tay said. "They're sending scouts." "Then we don't have much time," Admiral Kang said. "Dr. Sung, how long until you can make the shadows visible to everyone?" "A few hours, maybe," she said. "But I need access to the station's main power system." "You'll get it," the Admiral promised. "Commander Tay, I want you to study everything we know about the Vextal ship. Find weaknesses." "Yes, sir," Tay said. As they reached the lab, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Red emergency lights flashed in the hallways. "What's happening?" Dr. Sung asked. Han checked the security screens. His face went pale. "The Vextal ship is moving. It's sending smaller ships toward Earth." "They're not waiting for our answer," Tay realized. "The shadow beings know we've discovered them." "This is no longer about negotiation," Admiral Kang said grimly. "This is war." He turned to face them all. "Humanity is facing an enemy most people can't even see. But we can. We might be the only hope Earth has." Tay looked at the small group around him. Scientists, officers, and regular workers who could see the truth. They looked scared, but determined. "Then let's show everyone what we're fighting," Tay said. "And let's show these shadow gods that humans aren't as easy to control as the Vextal." Red emergency lights flashed throughout Seoul Station. Warning sounds rang in every hallway. On the main screen in the control room, everyone could see the Vextal ship releasing smaller vessels headed for Earth. "How many ships?" Admiral Kang asked. "7, answered the officer at the tracking station. "Moving fast toward major cities." "Alert Earth defense," Admiral Kang ordered. "Tell them to stop those ships at all costs." Tay studied the Vextal main ship on another screen. It was staying near the station, but had turned to face them. Its surface rippled with strange colors. "They're charging weapons," Tay said. "We need to protect the station." "Shields up," Admiral Kang commanded. "Prepare defense systems." Dr. Sung rushed into the control room. She looked tired but excited. "I did it," she said. "I can make the shadow beings visible to everyone." "How?" Tay asked. "They give off energy our sensors can detect," she explained, holding up a small device. "This will make that energy visible as light. Everyone will see them." "Do it," Admiral Kang said. Dr. Sung plugged the device into the station's main computer. She typed quickly on the keyboard. "It needs time to connect to all station systems." "We don't have much time," Tay warned. "Look, on the screen, the Vextal ship glowed with bright energy." "They're going to attack," Admiral Kang said. "Dr. Sung, how much longer?" 2 minutes, she said. still typing. Maybe less. Han ran into the control room. Sir, 5 Vextal have entered. The station! They broke through the security doors on level 3. Admiral Kang turned to his security team. Stop them. But remember, the Vextal are not our real enemy. The shadow beings controlling them are. The device is almost ready, Dr. Sung announced. 30 more seconds. Suddenly, the control room. Doors slid open. 3 Vextal stepped in, holding strange weapons. Behind them floated their shadow masters, larger and darker than ever before. Stop what you are doing, said High Speaker Vel, pointing its weapon at Dr. Sung. Move away from the computer. Tay and the others who could see the shadow beings watched as the dark shapes spread through the room, touching each human briefly, as if searching for something. You know, don't you? Tay said directly to the largest shadow. You know some of us can see you. The Vextal looked confused. Who are you talking to, human? Your gods, Tay said. The beings from another dimension who control you. We can see them. The Vextal's scales turned bright red. Lies! The Eternal Guides speak only to the Vextal. They chose us. Did they? Tay asked. Or did they change your DNA over thousands of years until you could see them? Until you would obey them without question? The shadow behind Vel stretched forward. It seemed to study Tay closely. A cold voice touched Tay's mind. You see us. Impossible. Not impossible, Tay said aloud. Just rare, but not for long. Dr. Sung pressed a final button on her keyboard. Now, the lights in the control room changed. Suddenly, the air was filled with swirling colors. The shadow beings became visible to everyone. Dark shapes with reaching arms and no clear faces floating behind each Vextal. The control room erupted in chaos. People who had never seen the shadow beings before cried out, in shock. The Vextal turned around, confused by the humans' reactions. What have you done? Vel demanded. Shown everyone the truth, Tay said. Your gods are not gods at all. They're parasites from another dimension who feed on worlds. The largest shadow being grew even larger. Its voice filled Tay's mind again, cold and angry. We have consumed 1,000 worlds. Yours will be next. Admiral Kang stepped forward. Not this world, not today. He activated the station's main communication system. Attention all Earth Defense Forces. You are not fighting the Vextal ships. You are fighting the dark shapes above and behind them. Target those shapes with all weapons. On the main screen, they could see Earth's defense ships rising to meet the Vextal vessels. The shadow beings were now visible to everyone, appearing as massive dark clouds above each alien ship. Kill the humans who can see us, the shadow being commanded the Vextal. Kill them now! The Vextal raised their weapons, but Tay could see something different in their movements. They seemed hesitant, confused. They've never heard you give orders before, have they? Tay said to the shadow. They've only felt your commands in their minds. Now everyone can hear you. Vel lowered its weapon slightly. We serve the Eternal Guides willingly, it said, but its voice shook. Do you? Tay asked. Did they give you a choice? Did they tell you what happened to the other worlds they visited? On the main screen, the battle above Earth had begun. Defense ships fired at the shadow beings. Where the weapons hit, the shadows seemed to break apart before reforming. Your weapons cannot harm us, the shadow being said, the cold voice now audible. To everyone through Dr. Sung's device, we exist in multiple dimensions. Maybe not our normal weapons, Admiral Kang agreed, but Dr. Sung has been studying your energy patterns. He nodded to Dr. Sung, who pressed another button. The station hummed as a new kind of energy filled the air. The shadow beings began to twist and pull back, as if in pain. "What is this?" the largest shadow demanded. "The same energy your kind gives off, but reversed," Dr. Sung explained. "It disrupts your connection to our dimension." Outside, Earth's defense ships began using the same energy. The massive shadow beings above the Vextal vessels started breaking apart. In the control room, the three Vextal watched as their shadow, masters, weakened. Vel dropped its weapon and touched its head, as if waking from a dream. "What? What have we done?" it asked, looking around in confusion. "Where are we? What is happening?" "You've been controlled," Tay told Vel gently. "For generations. But you can be free now." On the screen, they could see the Vextal ships stopping their attack. The shadow beings were fading, losing their hold on this dimension. The largest shadow in the control room gathered its strength for one final effort. It reached for Tay with dark, stretching arms. "We will return," its cold voice promised. "We have waited thousands of years. We can wait thousands more." "But we'll be ready," Tay said. "And now we can see you." The shadow being gave one final pulse of dark energy, then broke apart and vanished. The other shadows followed, disappearing like smoke in wind. The three Vextal in the control room fell to their knees. They looked around with clear eyes, as if seeing their surroundings for the first time. "What have we done?" Vel asked again, its voice now truly its own. "The eternal guides. They were not what we thought." "They used you to get to other worlds," Tay explained. "They've probably been controlling your people for thousands of years." "And those other planets?" Vel asked. "Our supposed allies?" Admiral Kang showed Vel the data they had collected. Gone. Destroyed after the shadow beings finished with them. Vel's scales turned a deep blue color that Tay had never seen before. "We have much to answer for," the alien said, "though we were not in control of our actions." "We know," Tay said, "and now both our species have a common enemy to fight." Over the next hour, reports came in from Earth. All the shadow beings had retreated. The Vextal ships had powered down their weapons. The immediate danger was over, but Tay knew this was just the beginning. The shadow gods would return. They had to prepare. And now, at least, everyone could see what they were fighting. 6 months passed since the day humans and Vextal together drove away the shadow beings. Seoul Station had changed. The large meeting room where it all began was now a busy command center. Maps of space covered the walls. Workers from both species moved around, checking screens and talking in small groups. Commander Tay stood by the main window, looking out at the stars. Behind him, High Speaker Vel approached. The Vextal no longer had shadows following them. Their scales now showed their true feelings, not commands from hidden masters. "The defense system for Mars is complete," Vel said. Its scales glowed a calm green color. "Earth's moon will be next," Tay nodded. "Good. How are your people adjusting?" "It is difficult," Vel admitted. "For thousands of years, we thought the shadow beings were gods guiding us to greatness. Learning they were parasites, using us to find new worlds to consume." Its scales darkened briefly. "Many Vextal are lost without their voices in our heads." "Freedom is hard," Tay said. "Humans have struggled with it for our entire history." but worth fighting for, Vel added. Its scales brightened again. Admiral, Kang entered the room with Dr. Sung. They carried tablets filled with new information. We found something, Dr. Sung said. She put her tablet on the table and showed them pictures of ancient human paintings. The images showed people bowing to dark shapes that looked just like the shadow beings. These are from caves in Africa, she explained, over 15,000 years old. The shadow beings were here before, Tay said, studying the images. Yes, Dr. Sung agreed. But something happened. They left Earth and found the Vextal instead. Not just left, Admiral Kang said. He showed them more images from other ancient cultures. These showed people fighting the shadow shapes. Our ancestors drove them away. How? Vel asked. Your technology was primitive then. Not technology, Dr. Sung said. Biology, the genetic marker that lets some humans see the shadow beings. It was much more common in ancient times. Almost everyone had it. Over time, as the shadow beings left, the marker became less common, Admiral Kang explained. Evolution didn't select for it anymore. Tay thought about this. But some humans kept it, like a memory written in our DNA. The Vextal never developed this ability naturally, Vel said. The shadow beings changed us over generations until we could see and hear them, but we could never resist them. Han entered the command center with an urgent message. Sir, we've detected something near Jupiter. Energy patterns like the shadow beings. Everyone moved quickly to the main screen. A dark spot was forming in HFY space near Jupiter's largest moon. They're trying to come back, Tay said, just as they promised. Activate the barrier, Admiral Kang ordered. Throughout the solar system, special satellites powered up. They created the energy field Dr. Sung had developed, the reversed pattern that disrupted the shadow being's connection to our dimension. The dark spot near Jupiter shrank and disappeared. It worked, Dr. Sung said, checking the readings, but they're getting stronger. Each time they try to return, they learn more about our defenses. We need a more permanent solution, Tay said. He turned to Vel. What do you know about the shadow being's home dimension? Very little, Vel admitted. They kept that knowledge from us, but we have star maps showing all the worlds they conquered through us. Vel showed them a map of the galaxy with 12 planets marked. Earth would have been the 13th. What's special about these worlds? Dr. Sung asked, studying the pattern. Han, who had become an expert on dimensional energy, looked closely at the map. They form a straight line, he said. Exactly straight, across different star systems. A path, Tay realized. They're creating a path through space. Dr. Sung's eyes widened. Not just through space, through dimensions. She quickly did some calculations on her tablet. If the shadow beings consume the energy of planets in this exact pattern, they could create a permanent opening between dimensions, Admiral Kang finished, large enough to bring their entire realm into ours. The room went quiet as everyone understood what this meant. Not just an invasion, but the merging of two dimensions, with catastrophic results for all life in this one. Earth was the final point, Vel said, its scales now pale with fear. With Earth's energy, they would complete the pattern. Then we need to break the pattern, Tay said firmly. We need to free the other worlds if any survivors remain. And we need to find their home dimension, Admiral Kang added. Take the fight to them. How? Vel asked. We don't know where or what it is. Dr. Sung had been working on her tablet while they talked. I might have an answer, she said. The drug I created doesn't just let people see the shadow beings. It lets humans perceive their dimension, at least partly. You want to send someone to their dimension? Tay asked, surprised. Not physically, Dr. Sung explained. Just their consciousness, like a scout. I'll go, Tay said immediately. It's too dangerous, Admiral Kang argued. I've seen them from the beginning, Tay said. I understand them better than anyone. After much discussion, they agreed. The next day, Tay lay on a bed in Dr. Sung's lab. Equipment surrounded him, monitoring his vital signs. Vel and several other Vextal were there too, hoping to learn more about their former masters. The drug is much stronger this time, Dr. Sung warned as she prepared the injection. Your mind will perceive their dimension, but your body stays here. If anything goes wrong, we'll bring you back immediately. I understand, Tay said. He felt calm despite the danger. Let's begin. The drug entered his body. Tay closed his eyes. At first, he felt nothing. Then, slowly, the darkness behind his eyelids began to change. He saw shapes forming, strange geometries that hurt to look at, colors that had no names in human language. He was seeing the shadow being's home dimension. But he wasn't alone there. They know I'm watching, he thought, to his team, hoping they could hear him. They can sense me. In this strange place, the shadow beings weren't shadows at all. They were vast, complex creatures of energy and thought, ancient beyond understanding, and hungry. We see you too, human. Their thoughts touched his mind. You cannot stop what is coming. But as Tay observed them, he realized something important. Though powerful, the shadow beings were afraid. Afraid of something in human consciousness they couldn't control or understand. You fear us, Tay thought back to them. That's why you left Earth before. Not because we fought you, but because we could see you without your permission. Because we could say no. Tay felt a wave of anger from the beings, but also confirmation. He was right. With great effort, Tay pulled his mind back to his body. He opened his eyes, gasping for air. Everyone gathered around him. I know, he said when he could speak again. I know why they fear us, and I know how to stop them. As Tay explained what he had learned, a new plan formed. Humans and Vextal would work together. They would use the shadow being's fear against them. They would bring the special human ability to see beyond dimensions to all the worlds that needed it. The shadow beings had made one crucial mistake. They thought seeing gods meant worship. They never considered that seeing gods might mean freedom from them. And that was the secret that would save not just Earth, but all worlds threatened by the shadows between dimensions. The end.